Have you ever felt like you know all the grammar rules, but when you try to speak, your mouth just stops?
Oh, absolutely. It's like your brain is preparing a PhD thesis on the present perfect, and by the time you start speaking, the moment is gone.
Exactly. And then someone makes a joke, maybe a little bit of sarcasm, and you're just standing there trying to translate the entire sentence word for word.
You hit the nail on the head. That feeling of missing the humor or missing the quick reply because you are stuck searching for the perfect verb tense.
Welcome to the English Blend.
I'm Leo.
And I'm Mia.
Today we're diving into sarcasm and humor in English, but really we're talking about the key skill that lets you enjoy those advanced elements, fluency.
We want to help you move past that grammar block. We want you to speak like a person, not a textbook.
Exactly. So grab your coffee and let's get started.
Our main topic today, before we even get to the tricky stuff like sarcasm, is understanding what we are actually aiming for when we say we want to speak English well.
Right? We usually talk about two big things, fluency and accuracy.
And these two things are often confused, or people prioritize the wrong one.
Let's define them simply. When we talk about accuracy, what are we referring to?
Accuracy is perfection. It's about using the correct grammar, the correct vocabulary, the correct spelling. Think of it as getting a perfect score on a grammar test.
So if I say, I went to the store yesterday, that is accurate. Correct tense, correct vocabulary.
Totally accurate. But let's look at fluency. What is that, Leo?
Fluency is communication. It's about how smoothly and quickly you can express your thoughts without pausing a lot, even if you make small mistakes.
It's the flow. It's being able to deliver your thought, your message, without constantly stopping to correct yourself or searching for that perfect preposition.
We call that being able to get your point across. That's our first useful phrase for today.
To get your point across means the listener understands your intended message. The communication worked.
Maybe you used I gone to the store instead of I went. That's inaccurate. But did the person understand you were talking about shopping yesterday? Yes.
So you got your point across. The communication succeeded. And that's what matters in real life, at the cafe, at work.
Think of fluency as driving a car. You might hit a few bumps, those are the little grammar mistakes, but the car keeps moving and you reach your destination.
Fluency is the car itself being perfectly polished. But if you stop every 5 seconds to check the tire pressure, you never get anywhere.
That's a great analogy. You're prioritizing movement over mechanical perfection.
And this is where learners often hit a wall. This is our second useful phrase.
To hit a wall means you reach a point where you stop making progress. You feel stuck.
And we see so many students hit a wall because they are chasing 100% accuracy, but they neglect fluency.
They are so worried about making a mistake that they don't speak at all.
Or they speak so slowly, thinking, correcting, translating, that the conversation moves on without them.
And conversation is quick, especially when people are using humor or sarcasm. Those elements rely on quick timing and shared understanding.
If you are busy checking your conditional tense, you miss the joke, you miss the punchline, and you miss the opportunity to join in.
So, to reiterate, our focus for better communication, for better real-world English, is fluency equals communication, not perfection. Let's talk about why grammar, which is obviously important, ironically becomes the thing that blocks fluency.
The grammar block. It's a very real phenomenon. In school, we're taught English based on rules, right? You study the list of irregular verbs, you memorize the difference between since and for.
And that's good for understanding the structure of the language. It builds a foundation.
But when you are speaking in real time, your brain doesn't have time to process 4 separate rules for verb conjugation. It just doesn't.
If you try to apply the rules one by one while someone is talking to you, you enter this loop of monitor mode.
Monitor mode, where you constantly monitor your output against a set of rules. It's exhausting.
It takes up all your mental energy. Instead of focusing on what the person is saying or how to reply naturally, You are only focused on how you should structure your next sentence perfectly.
And that's where the flow dies. You pause, you stutter, you restart.
And that pausing is what makes you feel unfluent, even though you might have a high level of vocabulary or grammar knowledge.
We need to move grammar from conscious knowledge, knowing the rule, to unconscious ability, just saying it naturally.
You don't think, oh, I need to use the simple past now. You just say, I saw that movie yesterday.
Exactly. That automatic output is fluency.
And the over-reliance on perfect grammar is one of the biggest reasons people find it hard to understand natural humor or sarcasm, because these things are often based on subtle, non-textbook uses of language.
Sarcasm, for instance, often involves saying the opposite of what you mean using tone of voice. Like if I spill coffee all over my shirt and I look down and say, well, that was a brilliant idea. I'm not using grammatically difficult language, but understanding the meaning requires interpreting the tone, not just the words.
If you are stuck in monitor mode, you hear brilliant idea and you think, why is Leo happy? That shirt is wet. Maybe brilliant means something else. You miss the tone because you are prioritizing the dictionary definition and the perfect sentence structure.
We need to loosen up. It's not the end of the world. That's our third key phrase for today.
It's not the end of the world means that a small problem or mistake isn't disastrous or catastrophic. It's okay.
If you make a grammar mistake, it's not the end of the world. If you use the wrong tense, it's not the end of the world. If you miss a quick joke, it's not the end of the world.
This mindset is crucial. You have to give yourself permission to make mistakes to achieve fluency. Let me give a short story, a cultural note about this. I remember teaching a student who came to London for the first time, and he was a grammar champion. He knew every single rule.
Wow, so perfect accuracy?
Perfect accuracy, but zero fluency. He ordered a coffee at a busy cafe.
Okay, simple task.
He wanted a large latte. The barista asked him, anything else, mate? The student immediately started thinking, did he use the informal greeting? Should I reply formally? What if I use the wrong modal verb to decline?
Oh dear, he froze. Monitor mode overloaded.
He paused for a full 10 seconds. The line behind him grew longer. Finally, he managed to say, no, I require nothing further at this juncture.
Well, technically accurate, that's certainly not natural.
The barista just blinked, handed him the coffee, and said, right, cheers. The student was embarrassed because he realized his perfect sentence didn't sound friendly or natural, and it took too long.
He got his point across, but he didn't achieve natural communication. His focus on perfect grammar meant he missed the friendly, informal vibe of the interaction.
If he had just said, no thanks, that's all, he would have been fluent, friendly, and moved on. The small inaccuracy, if there was one, wouldn't have mattered. It would have been natural.
So how do we train our brains to prioritize speed and communication over that relentless grammar check? How do we stop hitting that wall? We have 5 practical tips for you today. These steps help shift the focus from rule-based learning to communication-based learning.
Tip 1, which we talk about often because it's so powerful, massive listening.
Not just listening, but massive listening. You need to expose your brain to English constantly.
Why? Because native speakers don't learn grammar rules. They learn patterns and sounds. They hear how words naturally fit together.
If you listen constantly, podcasts, YouTube, music, movies, you start internalizing the rhythm and the structures unconsciously.
You start hearing, I went to the store hundreds of times, and eventually I gone to the store starts sounding wrong to your ear, not just to your grammar rule book.
It becomes automatic, and that automation is fluency. Make it passive listening sometimes too. Have a podcast like ours playing while you cook or commute.
Exposure, exposure, exposure. That's step 1 for bypassing the grammar block.
Tip 2, learn language in chunks.
This is essential for overcoming monitor mode. What are chunks, Mia?
Chunks are groups of words that naturally go together and operate as a single unit. They are prefabricated phrases.
Instead of learning I plus have plus been, plus to, plus the, plus store. You learn the entire sequence. I have been to the store as one single unit.
Or common phrases like, on the other hand, or to tell you the truth, or even quick reaction phrases like, you're kidding me.
You're kidding me. As one chunk, when someone tells you surprising news, you don't have to construct the sentence. You are, what is the verb for joking? You just deploy the chunk.
It instantly boosts your fluency because you are saying 5 words in the time it usually takes you to find 1 word.
And this is particularly useful for understanding sarcasm and humor, because sarcasm often relies on common fixed expressions being used ironically, like the phrase, "Oh, how wonderful." That's a chunk. If someone says it with a flat tone after their car breaks down, you know instantly it's sarcasm.
You didn't have to analyze the grammar. You recognized the chunk and combined it with the tone and context. Fluency achieved. Tip 3. We call this the 3-second rule.
I love the 3-second rule. It's a game changer for speaking.
When you are speaking and you feel that hesitation, that moment where you start monitor mode, you give yourself only 3 seconds to find the perfect word or grammar structure.
1, 2, 3, go. If the perfect word doesn't come out in those 3 seconds, you must say the simpler version or the close enough word or rephrase it entirely. The goal is to keep moving. Don't let the conversation stop. Fluency relies on momentum.
If you need to describe a very heavy rain and you can't remember the word downpour in 3 seconds, just say very strong rain. Get your point across.
It's okay if it's slightly clumsy or maybe a tiny bit inaccurate. It's not the end of the world. The communication continues. And practicing the 3-second rule trains your brain that maintaining flow is more important than achieving perfection.
Tip 4. Focus on intonation and stress.
This sounds technical, but it's actually very practical, especially for humor. Intonation is the music of the language. It's how your voice rises and falls. Stress is which words you emphasize. If you say, I didn't steal the money, but you stress the word I, it changes the meaning completely, implying someone else stole it.
And if you don't use natural intonation, native speakers might struggle to understand your emotion or intent. Think back to sarcasm. Sarcasm is almost entirely conveyed by a flat, unnatural, or overly exaggerated intonation.
You must listen carefully for the music of the sentence, not just the individual notes, the words. Practice mimicking the intonation you hear in movies or podcasts. That brings us to tip 5, practice shadowing.
Shadowing is a fantastic speaking practice that combines all these elements. You listen to a short clip, maybe 30 seconds of a native speaker, and you immediately try to repeat it exactly as they said it right after them. You are their shadow. The key is to try and match their speed, their intonation, their pauses, and their stress. You are mimicking the sound, not translating the meaning.
This forces your mouth and tongue muscles to move in natural English patterns, reducing that mental effort needed for monitor mode.
You are building muscle memory for fluency. This helps integrate those chunks and makes your speaking sound more natural.
Let's review those practical steps quickly. Massive listening, learning in chunks, the 3-second rule, focusing on intonation and stress, and shadowing.
All of these tips are designed to get you speaking quickly, smoothly, and without constantly hitting a wall. Let's spend some more time on our key phrases too, because understanding how these work in context boosts fluency.
Our first one was, get your point across.
We use this when we prioritize the message over the grammar.
For example, if you are giving instructions at work, you are rushing, and you might say, tell marketing team that the deadline moved to Monday.
The grammar is a little messy. The deadline move should be has been moved. But did you get your point across? Yes, the marketing team knows they have until Monday.
Success! You achieved communication. Your colleagues probably didn't even register the error because the message was clear and fast.
Another example.
You're traveling and you need directions. You say, "Excuse me, where is place with big, tall tower?"
The native speaker understands immediately you mean the landmark. Maybe, where's the place with the tall tower? Or where is the big tower? You got your point across.
If you stopped for 5 minutes trying to figure out the right article usage or adjective placement, you wouldn't have gotten the directions.
Now, let's look at hit a wall. This is useful for expressing frustration in your study process.
It's such a common phrase when discussing progress, especially in skills like language learning or exercise.
I might say, I was studying vocabulary for 2 hours, but then I just hit a wall. I couldn't remember any more words.
It means you reached a point of exhaustion or extreme difficulty where you couldn't proceed.
We also use it in conversations about career progression. Leo, are you making progress on that big project?
Honestly, I've tried 3 approaches, but I keep hitting a wall with the coding. I think I need to ask for help.
You can use it when you are talking about practicing fluency too. I was speaking really well this week, but yesterday I hit a wall and couldn't remember the word for stapler.
That's a perfect, relatable example. It shows that language learning isn't linear. You will have good days and bad days.
And that leads perfectly into our third phrase, it's not the end of the world.
This phrase is crucial for mental resilience in language learning.
If you hit a wall, you need to remember it's not the end of the world.
Say you mess up an important presentation at work because you mixed up your past tense verbs. Your boss still understood the core data.
You can tell a friend later, my presentation was terrible. I used the wrong verb tense 10 times, but hey, it's not the end of the world. I still got my point across about the budget increase.
See how they connect? The goal is always to reduce the significance of the minor errors.
Imagine you ordered the wrong meal at a restaurant because you misunderstood the waiter. You got chicken when you wanted fish.
Annoying, but it's not the end of the world. You can eat the chicken or politely explain the mistake. Life continues.
The confidence to recover from small mistakes is what boosts your fluency. If you stop speaking because of a mistake, you reinforce the fear.
But if you make a mistake and immediately think, oh well, it's not the end of the world, and keep speaking, you reinforce the behavior of flow.
That flow is essential for catching on to things like sarcasm and natural humor. Because those things are fast, they rely on quick reflexes.
When someone uses light sarcasm, they aren't waiting for you to process the sentence structure. They are waiting for your reaction, maybe a smile, maybe a quick comeback.
Let's quickly try a conversational exchange using all our elements.
I'm ready.
So, I saw you were looking stressed yesterday, Leo. How is that new software rollout going?
It's fine. We had that team meeting that started 2 hours late. Clearly, this project is proceeding at lightning speed.
You got your point across without even complaining about the speed. You're saying it's slow, right?
Exactly. But trying to fix the setup this morning, I completely hit a wall. I couldn't get the server to recognize the connection.
That's frustrating, but don't worry about that small delay, Leo. It's not the end of the world. We have time before the full deadline.
You're right. I just need to remember that communication is key, not perfection.
And see? Even in that quick exchange, we used natural language, we used fillers, we used humor, and we kept the flow going. That's fluency in action.
It wasn't 100% accurate, maybe, if we checked every single comma, but we understood everything. We communicated.
That's the goal for every learner listening right now. Stop prioritizing the grammar book when you are speaking. Prioritize being understood.
Focus on the chunks. Focus on massive listening. And when you speak, use the 3-second rule.
Give yourself permission to make those tiny mistakes. Nobody speaks perfectly, not even native speakers.
We slur our words. We use filler words constantly, like and you know. And we often break grammatical rules when we are talking quickly.
The difference is when we break a rule, we don't stop and think about it. We just keep going. You need to adopt that same mindset.
Let's recap everything we covered today.
We started by defining our terms. Accuracy is grammar perfection.
But fluency is quick, smooth, successful communication.
We noted that focusing too hard on grammar rules, monitor mode, is often what blocks fluency and prevents learners from engaging naturally.
We learned the importance of focusing on communication over perfection, especially when dealing with things like subtle English humor.
Our 3 key phrases were get your point across, make sure the listener understands the message, hit a wall to stop making progress due to difficulty, and it's not the end of the world. A minor problem isn't catastrophic.
And our 5 practical steps to boost fluency were massive listening, learning in chunks, the 3-second rule, focusing on intonation and stress, and shadowing.
Remember, every mistake you make is just a sign that you are trying. And trying is the only way to get fluent.
Consistency matters more than intensity. A little bit of practice every day is better than one massive session a week.
So use these tips, try out those phrases in conversation this week, and don't worry about the perfect grammar.
Just focus on getting your point across.
Next time on the English Blend, we're going to be talking about how to effectively disagree with someone in a professional setting.
It's all about maintaining politeness while standing your ground. You don't want to miss that one.
That was a great talk.
Yes, see you in the next episode of the English Blend.